Just wait a second here to get set up, okay. Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to start with our Mississippi State sessions now. A reminder again to silence your cell phones. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Wait for the microphone to come to you, and please identify your name and affiliation. If you're joining us on Zoom, also please raise your hand, and we'll get to you when we get through with the questions in the room. Before we do start, I did want to introduce Will Simmons, a communications fellow from Mississippi State. If you have any questions about Mississippi State, he's there for you. And with that, I'd like to introduce our two student athletes. We have Jerkayla Jordan with us, and we have Debrisha Powell. We'll start with some questions from the audience.
Wait, Debrisha Poe.
Poe. I apologize.
It's okay.
Any questions?
Jason Crowder with Mississippi State Radio. Jerkayla, I want to ask you this. This is your last go-around, your second NCAA tournament with Mississippi State. How much of a motivating factor is it knowing that this is the last time you're going to see the floor of this tournament?
Honestly, just grateful going out with this group, special group of my teammates, coaching staff. Blessed to be back in the tournament. Just going out there knowing that it possibly could be my last, so giving it all, not only for me, but for the fan base community of Starkville.
Hey there, Terry Smith with USC Stats. So a couple questions. First, congratulations on a great year. You had a career-high 40 points.
Yeah, thank you.
Playing in one of the probably the toughest conference in women's basketball right now. I want you to talk to me about how that kind of felt. You guys started off obviously the first top game against South Carolina.
Yeah.
You tended to trend better. LSU got a little bit better, and then obviously you only lost by 40 against Texas. Kind of tell me what that process was, the growth going from that I guess probably 20-point loss to South Carolina to only losing by 4 at Texas coming to the end of the season, and how it's prepared you for this tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think the biggest thing is you want to be playing your best basketball in March. And like Sam said earlier, each game you want to get better. And this show, we're gotten better, we're working harder, and we just want to see ourselves get better so we can be prepared for games like this in March.
Mm-hmm.
Follow up?
And then as a follow-up, the three-point shot, that's Cal shoots the three-point shot really well. I know in those games in particular, that was one of the parts where there was a little bit of a struggle. How have you guys tried to address that as you move forward into this tournament, knowing that that's going to be one of the big factors in playing Cal?
Yeah, like you said, Cal, they're a great three-point shooting team. Just focusing on, finding them early. Obviously, Coach Sam says they're a great team, so they're never out the game, as long as they can make threes. So just find them early in transition, knowing their shooters, knowing when they are in transition, being aware, and just trying to get them to do something different.
Follow up over here.
Again, this could be for Debrisha or Jerkayla. Last season, things down the stretch of the regular season didn't go your way. Just missed this NCAA tournament. What was different about this team that kind of weathered some storms and stuck with the process at the end?
Well, I would say we just know, like you said, we didn't like how we finished last year, and we was hungry. We wanted it this year. We knew that we wanted to be playing in March, and like you said, each game we had to work and practice. Like you said, basketball is a game of ups and downs, and we understand that, but it's how you take those difficult situations or those losses is whether you have the mindset of, we're not going to let this be down. We're going to take this loss, and we're going to learn from it so we can be better for the next game, and that's what we did this year. We knew we needed to finish strong, and we want to be playing our best basketball in March, and it matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in 2022, 2023 season, DeBrisha, that was your first season, and that was actually your third.
Yeah,
your
you gotta
second
think
season.
about it.
Yeah, well, you're a graduate student, right? So,
Yeah.
How would you say that prepared you for this time around? Considering that obviously you made a good little run from the first four to the second round. It's obviously tough to be able to be one of those last teams in with everything against you and make that type of run.
Yeah,
What would you say you took from that to bring into this season?
That's actually what we were just talking about. Me and Brisha, we were on the team that made to the tournament. We were on the team that didn't make to the tournament. We had a lot of highs, lows throughout these past 3 seasons we've been with Coach Sam. So I feel like out of anyone, we're like the two that's seen it all, that's seen like the good and the bad, that learned from it all. We played SEC ball for like 4 years. So just like she said, taking everything we learned, passing it on to our new teammates, the transfers, the freshmen, and just being as one. Like you said, going into this tournament with momentum, chip on our shoulder from last year, not being able to make the tournament, but still grateful we're here and just trying to win as many win games as possible.
I'll ask a question or two. You said SEC ball. Describe SEC ball for people out here that might not be familiar with it. I know it's one of the toughest conferences out there.
Okay,
Either
you
of
want
you,
that one?
or both of you.
I'll say SEC basketball is dominant. It's very physical, but it's talented as well. Like when you come out, it's gonna be a fight every game. It's gonna be really good basketball, and you can't take nothing for granted. When you're out there on the court, you literally have to leave it all out on your court day in and day out. Like you have to play like it's your last game because it's especially in this tournament now. Like you said, it's a 1-game tournament. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Very fast, very, very physical, extremely physical. And just like she said, like there's no SEC team that you can just go out and be like, yeah, we're finna, beat them. Like every team is competition. Like every team brings their best. So you just gotta bring your best every game.
You talked a little bit about your opponent for tomorrow, Cal, but could you get a little more in depth? What do you expect from them? What do you need to do to beat them and that sort of thing?
Like Jacayla said earlier, Cal, like you said, they're known for shooting threes. They do shoot a lot of threes. And for us to beat them, we have to know where they're at. Communication has been the biggest thing Sam has just emphasized in practice is talking. If we're not talking, it's going to be a long night. We have to talk. We have to communicate. We have to know where the shooters are. We have to rebound. They have dominant posts that rebounds really hard, so we have to box out. Those have been the things that we've been emphasizing, and we know that's what we have to do to win. If we close out, have high active hands at all times, and rebound, it's going to be a really good night.
About the state of this program now, 3 straight 20-win seasons. You've built quite a foundation. What do you see moving forward that you've provided?
Honestly, I'm just looking at just all the accomplishments Coach Sam has brought to this program. Like I was here before Sam. I stayed here with Sam. I wouldn't go nowhere. I'll play under Sam again if I had another year. Like you said, three seasons, 20+ wins, first 3 seasons. Like that's an amazing accomplishment. 2 NCAA tournament runs. He's brought me to the tournament for the first time. This is my second time being to the tournament with him. So I just give all praise to him and grace to him. And yeah, he's just an amazing coach. He's very passionate. He'll run through a wall for you. So it just makes you want to get on the court and run through a wall from him. Like, I thank him for everything.
Any other questions here in the room, on Zoom? Nope. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Hell State.
second here. Good? Okay, we'll get going here with the coach, but just a reminder again, silence your cell phones. If you have a question, please raise your hand, wait for the microphone, identify your name and affiliation. For those on Zoom, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. And with that, Coach Purcell, if you can make some opening comments about your team and the game coming up, and we'll take some questions after that.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you to USC for hosting. What a beautiful campus and a beautiful place to be here in LA. I cannot tell you how excited our entire team is. One, to be here in March and back in this tournament after a year off of last year, but most importantly, just where women's basketball is, and to be able to come out here to Los Angeles with so much excitement, so much growth, so many stars. We've got our work cut out against a great Cal team, but again, just thankful and grateful for the opportunity that's going to be before us tomorrow.
Questions? Terry?
Terry Smith, USC Stats. I was talking to your student athletes earlier about the game coming up, and obviously Cal is they've hit 10 plus threes in the last 6 games, and averaged almost 9 threes the whole season. One has to think that's going to be a factor tomorrow. I just wanted to talk to you about your preparedness for that, and how you see that game going offensively.
Well, we try to prepare as good as we can. Obviously, we've watched a lot of film. And film does a lot, to your point. They can flat out shoot the ball. I think the only practice player that I have good that can simulate what Cal can do is Victoria Vivens, who just retired from the WNBA. So I've got one person that's going to get us ready, but what they can do with between 4 to 5 kids on a time, you just can't match up. It's something that's very unique. She's got a special team. We're well aware that we're going to have our best defensive effort this year, all right, if we want to find a way to win this game tomorrow.
Coach, I have to introduce myself. Jason Crowder with Mississippi State
Are we
Radio.
allowed to kick anybody out? I don't know the rules here in California.
Jerkayla Jordan
Yes.
has been with you your entire 3 years in Starkville. She had a lot of high praise for you just a moment ago. As a matter of fact, it was a great recruiting pitch. What has it been like coaching someone of her caliber, not only the talent, but the person that she is the last 3 years?
Yeah, just the luckiest coach in the world in a climate where players can leave. Her story is very unique and very special. First and foremost, she's a young lady who started at Tulane and believed in herself. Believed that she could play at the highest level in the SEC and took that chance. And then moving to Mississippi State, we've had some unfortunate situations within our program. A coach passing away, an interim coach, and then obviously given the opportunities to coach this program 3 years ago, she never left. She stayed. And it's just a credit to that young lady's belief and core that, you know what, God placed her here, and that whatever he's thrown on her shoulders that she'll be able to handle. And boy, has she handled it as good as anybody in the country. So for her not only to stay, but help me recruit over these last 3 years, and most importantly, in my first year, get to the NCAA tournament, and then last year, obviously being one of the first 4 out and being determined that she went out with a bang to get us back in. You can't say enough great things about that young lady, and I'm just glad the West Coast gets the opportunity to watch her play, because the East Coast, they definitely know about her. So she's going to be a household name, and then there's no doubt she'll be playing in the WNBA after this.
Coach, I'm not going to ask you to give your game plan away for Cal, so I'm going to move on to something else. Obviously, Cal is the first opponent, but
Stop the 3.
yeah. There's a lot of great coaches here in this arena
Yes.
this weekend and across the NCAA tournament, but you have a special relationship with Beth Burns, and
Yeah.
I saw you able to see her earlier when we arrived yesterday and give her a big hug. What has she meant to the game of basketball, being kind of a legend-type coach that she is? And talk about your relationship with her.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that question, because obviously the coaches here, especially Lindsay and Charmin, I can't say enough great things. They're what's right about women's basketball right now. They're women of class, the way they carry themselves, and there's no doubt that's why both of their programs are in the top 25. But like anybody knows, there's people behind the scenes outside of the head coaches that make programs special, and that's Beth Burns. All right, those who are here at USC, you know the change since her impact has come here. And what I love about Beth Burns is first and foremost, she's a woman who really fights for cancer research. Right, there's a lot of coaches that come for paychecks, but she fights for lives. And then outside of that, she's just an ultimate warrior. Her success here in the state of California, starting off at San Diego State, was legendary. I got the opportunity to work with her at Louisville, and there was no doubt she was a huge part of those Final Four runs. And then it's just really cool to see her come back here and help Lindsay and see get this program at the top. So you're starting to hear more of the Hall of Fame mentioning, going outside of the normal head coaches or the players, and that assistants will get their opportunities. Beth obviously was a former head coach and has been a long assistant, and I hope she gets the flowers that she deserves because she's a legend here in California, and she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Obviously, playing in the SEC, the toughest conference in women's basketball.
Yeah.
Obviously over the course of the season, you started with South Carolina, then you moved on to LSU, and then to Texas, and each step you got progressively better. Your team played more competitively. Talk about what that progression over the season was, what kind of adjustments you were making to just eat away at this tough conference. I mean, especially with all the conference realignment, you got all these new teams switching around. It's got to be tough to game plan for a Texas that comes to the conference after being in the Big 12 for so long.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so my message to them was own it. And own it had a lot of different meanings behind that. Own it with the climate of today's college athletics. You saw a lot of weight and energy at the beginning of the year of people complaining, but complaining gets you nowhere. You got to own what the climate and the rules have been put before us by the NCAA, and you got to put together a team. And boy, do we have to put together a team like anybody. In the SEC, besides Kentucky, we had the least amount of returned experienced players at 3. So again, Jerkayla Jordan helped me go out there with Debrisha Poe and go recruit a team. And then once we put it together, the team, I said, all right, this team's got a chance to go to the NCAA tournament, but we've got to fail fast, all right, and we got to learn quick. And that's where, to your point, you saw the changes and the growth and the journey that was like no other. And I told them, the whole key is to be playing your best basketball come March. And what we were able to do in February was awesome, and I couldn't be more excited of where we're at today. But like any team, I think we're a little bit different because we've known we've got to finish this month out strong. So for a lot of teams waiting for their conference tournament of feeling that pressure of one and done, we've been living this for probably about 7 or 8 games, which is in our favor. So now I think there's a relaxed mindset that our kids understand the pressure that comes behind this, but there's not pressure if you have proper preparation. And when preparation meets opportunity, that's how you can seize the moment, and that's what we're going to try to do tomorrow. But we got our work cut out.
Coach, you alluded to having some new players. I think you had 3 returning players from last season. That's not easy to do, to get everybody to chill. But what has been a key piece in this team gluing, and who are some of the other unsung heroes that we haven't talked about? We've mentioned Jerkayla Jordan, but there's so many other important pieces to this puzzle that is this team this year.
Yeah, I think I probably speak for every coach at this time of the year that's in the NCAA tournament. You don't want this to end. The journey has been awesome because I think what I love about this group is their personalities. I've got several third school transfers, like a lot of us, where they've been blessed by the NCAA to get an extra year, and boy, are they maximizing it. First in their education with a master's degree, and they bring that knowledge and that just wealth and pride of a college experience onto the court. And I'm going to give a shout out to Anaya Russell and Chandler Prather, just 2 first-class individuals who have been starters, have come off the bench, who play multiple positions for my team, but they have no attitude or any problems. They just want to win, all right? And that's what I love about them is they're actually dogs. They just happen to be Mississippi State Bulldogs. So they're a pleasure. And then you got Denham DeShields, who comes from, those who know Diamond DeShields. It's her little sister, but she's made a name for herself. Obviously, her family and her father was a Major League Baseball coach. There's a huge storyline, but this young lady's trying to make her own, which has been really cool. Started off at UAB, also someone who believed in herself and wanted to play in the SEC, came here, and it's been an absolute joy to coach. And then I think I've got one of the best post players in the country in Medina. a young lady from Kenya who's just now started to play basketball. When you watch her tomorrow, you're going to think she's been playing since she's probably about 6 or 7, but she's only been playing for 5 or 6 years. And when you watch her on film, she just continues to get better and better, which makes our team special. And then you got to have other special players who are willing to do things. Neer and Kayla, two of my post players, are willing to come in and could be starters, but everybody can't start. And then I've got the #1 junior college player in the country in Destiny McFall, who's just absolute electric. So when you mix that all up, that's why we're here in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to have to bring it together and bring it for 40 minutes again if we want to have a chance against a really well-coached Cal team that's going to make us work for every possession.
Coach, let me ask you,
Yes.
2 years ago, you're in the NCAA tournament as your first year there. What have you taken from that as a head coach, and what have you imparted to your team about that?
Yeah, I think always you know, especially our journey is you never take it for granted. Obviously, I was blessed in my first year ever being a head coach to coach in the NCAA tournament, which was very unique. So as easy as that looked, there's nothing easy about it. And that's the message I try to relay to my young women is we started off this summer pushing out F-150 trucks. Okay, I don't know if you guys know what those are here in California because of the gas prices. A lot of Teslas and big boys, you know, but out on the east coast of Mississippi, we've got 4 trucks. So my young women would get in the back of the trucks and we'd push them up hills and try to do unbelievable workouts. And if you're a college student athlete, you ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? But the why is because it's moments like this. You've got to separate yourself from everybody else in the country, and you got to be willing to do things other people don't want to do. And if you do it right, night in and night out, it teaches you life lessons that I can roll up my sleeves and I can be special. And that's why we're here today. And that's where I want my young women to enjoy it. We have a work hard, play hard mentality. I apologize to the whole city of Los Angeles for anybody on the freeway that thought there was a party about 5 o'clock, because, boy, we were on a double-decker bus dancing like no other. All right? You could tell we were not from Mississippi, but, boy, we were loving the bright lights, and that's what I want them to enjoy today. All right? I don't know how many games we're going to get to play, but we're going to make this one very special come tomorrow, and I want them to enjoy it on and off the court and be thankful for the good Lord and the opportunities that came in front.
I guess my final question will be your 3 straight 20-win seasons. What's the magic potion to get that?
People. All right, it's people. Again, in a time and an era where you have major turnovers. You know, when I first started in this business, turnovers meant red flag and smoke, that you were doing something wrong. And as we all know today, that's not the climate of college athletics. So, you know, you have to wish the best for people who choose to leave because they think better things are ahead, but then you also got to do a heck of a job to reconnect and hurry and build relationships because, yes, you can go out and recruit great talent, but we all know it's not about X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And if you can learn people, and people will fight for you and run through a wall, and they understand I got a coaching staff that will fight for them and love them more than just being basketball players, then success follows. And that's what I'm very proud about in my 3 years here and 20-win seasons is we've done it the right way, day in and day out, and it hasn't been easy, but we found a way. So, very blessed.
Good. Last call for questions for Coach. If not, thank you very much, Coach, and wish you the best of luck. A reminder that this recording, video recording, and the transcripts will be posted on the NCAA Digital Media Hub, and that the Mississippi State practice will be open beginning at 4:30 for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody.